of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. With that, we'll do a roll call. Rossman? Yes. Wabernick? Yep. Kleinschmidt? Yes. Augustin? Yes. With that, we'll need a motion to approve the minutes from the January 8th meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that. Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Wabernick?
Yes.
Just you and me.
I say yes. And Rossman? Yes. Moving on to new business, we have to accept or decline the resignation of Larry Pikes.
I received his resignation on 1/9/2026. It says, I, Larry Pikes, am going to resign from the city council as of 1/9/2026. Thank you, Larry Pikes.
Is there a microphone where it could be used?
You can't hear me?
Well, no.
Sorry, I wasn't supposed to call you guys for roll.
I was okay with you.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think you can hear me. That's right.
I'll make a motion to accept his resignation.
I will second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Rossman? Yes. Wabernick?
Yes.
I vote yes. Now I made a couple of appointments to the city council. I would like a motion to approve Tracy Ogstad to my term, which will be 3 years.
I will motion to accept that.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Wabernick?
Yes.
I vote yes. And Rossman?
Yes.
Okay, and then I have appointed Luke Kleinschmidt to Larry's seat for the remainder of this year.
Make a motion to accept that.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Rossman?
Yes.
Wabernick?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Yeah, stand and raise our right hands. I, Randy Osmore, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Nebraska against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely and without mental reservation for the purpose of evasion, and that I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties of the office of mayor, council, and according to the law and to the best of my ability. And I further swear that I do not advocate, nor am I a member of any political party or organization that advocates the overthrow of the government of the United States or of this state by force or violence. And during such time as I am in this position, I will not advocate or become a member of a political party or organization that advocates the overthrow of the government of the United States or this state by force or violence. So help me God.
Can you do that again?
Want to hear that?
I was to do it individually too. I believe that I couldn't hear yours when you said it.
Yeah, it'll be good.
No?
Did you sign yours?
Yep.
Oh, thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims for February 26th.
I'll second that.
Okay. Rossman?
Yes.
Wabernick?
Yes.
Osmore, yes.
You don't have to anymore, they can.
Oh, they can vote? Oh, yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
No.
Sorry. They could hear.
Kleinschmidt?
Yes.
Ogstad? Okay. I would like to ask for a motion to open the public hearing for LB 840 plan.
I will motion to open public hearing for LB 840 plan.
Motion's been made and seconded. Wabernick?
Yes.
Kleinschmidt?
Yes.
Ogstad?
Yes.
Rossman?
Yes.
With that, we will start the public hearing.
Oh,
Hello, welcome to the party. My name is Bobby Pettit. I am the owner of 5 Rural Planning, and right now we're under contract with the Crofton City Council to assist with economic development, community development. We are a community planning and economic development firm. We're based in Kearney. Lowell Schroeder is on our team. He lives in Stanton. He does a lot of our Northeast Nebraska communities. Then we have 2 other employees in Kearney. We work with communities 500 to 5,000. Sometimes we do one-off plans and studies, and sometimes we do long-term contracts. Crofton is a long-term contract community. So in August, actually, we'll be at the end of our 2-year contract that we signed in August of 2024. And one thing that was on our scope of work was to revise the city's economic development plan, which is often referred to as LB 840. It's called LB 840 because in 1994 it was passed under Legislative Bill 840. But if you want to look up the rules of LB 840, it's actually LOMEDA, Local Option Municipal Economic Development Act. But everybody just always recognizes it as LB 840. So the city of Crofton adopted an LB 840 plan in 2009, and when the voters voted to approve that program, it had a sunset of March 31st, 2024. March 31st, 2024. So it was at the same time that the city adopted its sales tax. The city sales tax did not have a sunset. The 1% sales tax did not have a sunset. But taking 20% of the 1%, and putting it into the economic development plan, that had a sunset of March 31st, 2024 without being renewed. So the plan does need to be renewed every 15 years. So you adopted it in 2009, which is why it went to 2024. So at that point, the city stopped putting 20% of the city's 1% sales tax into the economic development fund, and it's been going into the general fund. So we would like to...
It's been going into infrastructure.
Infrastructure, yes, thank you, Rain.
No.
So it goes straight to the general fund. I
The
thought it went to-
20% of, 60% goes to infrastructure, 20% goes to pool and parks,
Right.
and 20% went to economic
Right,
development.
but in absence, when that tax ran out for economic development, it went right to infrastructure, didn't it? Not to the general fund.
Did it?
Went to
Okay,
infrastructure.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm saying, I thought Chantel put it in the general
I
fund
did
and
too.
just
I thought
marked
it was
it as
infrastructure.
economic development. Okay, it has been going into the economic development fund. So we need to bring it to a vote of the people to adopt an updated LB 840 or an updated economic development plan. So per state law, you guys have to, you as a council, need to review the plan and then adopt the plan, and then you'll pass a resolution to put the plan on the ballot. And then at the same time, you'll pass a resolution to put the question of whether or not to start allocating again the 20% of the 1% also on the ballot. So the ballot will first ask voters if they approve of the economic development plan, and there will be a summary of the plan on the ballot, and you should have gotten that in your packet. The resolution that has the ballot language is fairly long. The ballot language is long. And then after they approve the plan, they will be asked if they also approve taking 20% of the 1% and funding your economic development plan with that again. So it's sort of like going back and renewing your economic development plan. So I think it was November of 2024, we applied for a USDA Rural Business Development Grant. And so I'm not sure, and I forgot to ask Chantel until the meeting started. I'm not sure what the balance is in your LB 840 fund right now. In November of 2024, when we applied for the USDA Rural Business Development Grant, we had to have a 33% match, and we could apply for $99,000. And I believe we had 60-some thousand in the LB 840 account at that time. So the council chose to take 33% of what was in our LB 840 fund and apply for $99,000 from USDA. And that was going to give us a total project of $122,000. We were going to take roughly $24,000 and put that toward our contract, and that would pay for our time to revise your LB 840 plan. Because the USDA Rural Business Development Grant It's a grant to rural communities to set up a revolving loan fund for small businesses, and then it will also pay for technical assistance with the revolving loan fund. So that was our plan when we set out in November of 2024. And then we got a new president, and then we went through Doge, and then USDA completely remodeled their budget, and so we were supposed to find out in the summer of 2025 if we were going to be awarded the USDA grant. And because I could bill my time to that grant, I wasn't working on the economic development plan until then. But then we got notified in the fall of 2025 that the Rural Business Development Grant, it had not been doged, it had not been eliminated. However, it didn't end up receiving any funding in last year's federal fiscal year. So that grant is in limbo. But the reason I tell you that is that was an example of something we were going to do with the economic development funds we still had left over. Did you find what we have in there now?
It looked like about 40,000.
Okay.
Is that right? Yep.
That would make sense, because I think some of it has gone to our contract.
Yep.
So right now, there's about $40,000 left over from before we stopped collecting the sales tax at the end of March. So now we would like to start taking that 20% and start putting it back into economic development. In November of 2024, when we made the plan to apply for the USDA grant, we also set the goal of putting this on the ballot for the May 2026 primary. So that's why I think I brought the plan. I get lost in the time-space continuum, and I was not here in November, Jordan was here. So in August, I brought a copy of the plan, and I said we would review it and adopt it when I came back in February. You guys can decide tonight as a council if you still want to stick to that timeline, or do you still want to adopt the plan but maybe put it on the ballot in November? That's up to you. We have new council members, and so if we were going to stick to the timeline, the way it would go is hopefully you would adopt the plan tonight, and we take public comment when I'm done talking, adopt the plan tonight, and then Donna would take the resolution and get it to Joanne at Knox County, election commissioner, clerk, and then it would go on the ballot. So it has to get to the election commissioner by March 1st if you adopt it tonight. And so the way we've done this in several communities now, walked them through LB 840, and what I like to do is get it on the ballot first and make sure that it's going to go on the ballot, and then once I know for sure it's on the ballot, we switch to community education. So we will not campaign for the LB 840 plan to get adopted by the community, but we will certainly spend time educating the community on what the economic development plan is, what the plan was in the history, what in the past, what the plan is going forward, how much money we expect the sales tax to raise, and what we would do with the plan, which would be our economic development program. And so we were going to stick with the timeline. We would still vote to put it on the ballot tonight. Donna would get it to the election commissioner by March 1st, and then we would take March and April to do community education. So that would be the timeline we stick to tonight. I'm going to say pause. Any other members of the public?
So, in summer, to continue to have your guys' services, we'd have to get the LB 840, the 20% to reenact for economic development.
I mean, you wouldn't need it you can pay for us out of your general fund or however you want to. You guys all have a copy, right? Would anybody like the copy? So this is the program, this is the plan, and it lays out how the plan would go. So it says approximately how much money we think that we would collect with the sales tax, and then what we would do with the money that we collect. So the main thing that we would do, and the main thing that the law was ever passed in the 90s, was to give you the ability as a community to do loans to your small businesses. So small businesses in rural Nebraska are not really attractive to a traditional commercial lender. So having access to capital is always something that holds your small businesses back. But a lot of your small businesses are the anchors or the keystone of your community. So your gas stations, your grocery stores, your mechanic shops, the employers that you have here in town. That was the original intent of the program, was to be able to do loans or grants at low interest rates, not to compete with commercial banks, but to take care of the businesses that you have, to give them access to capital, but to do it at a lower interest rate. And this plan still allows for that. Things that have been added by the state as eligible activities since the law was first passed in 1994 is now you can use this fund, you can use these funds to, towards housing, towards building homes or remodeling homes, homes for sale or homes for rent. But the people that live in the homes, like somebody in here is probably gonna ask me, does that mean low income housing? The people that live in the homes that are somehow subsidized by your LB 840 program, those are people that are working the jobs in Crofton. So it could be your school superintendent, your teachers, it could be whoever's working at the gas station or whoever's serving coffee, people that are holding down jobs. Because at the end of the day, you trace back the expenditures in this account, you trace that back to benefiting the employers and the businesses in this community. The third thing that was recently added, and the only time now that you can use these funds and give it to a nonprofit, is if the nonprofit is providing childcare. So housing and childcare, two reasons that the cost of labor is sort of out of control for your local employers. So funds that are generated by this sales tax can go to small business revolving loan funds, it can go to workforce housing programs, or it can go to childcare. And it can go to paying for people like me to administer your program. So like if you do pass this program and you decide to have a revolving loan fund, I'll just say this now, I know in the last version of your plan, you did small business grants to homeowners, home builders, and businesses. With me as your administrator, I would strongly recommend against doing any grants, right? Because the point is to put the money out, get the money back, and put the money back out. So if you're doing a revolving loan fund and you're hiring somebody like me, I would be like basically the loan officer of these loans, of the loan administrator. Collect the business's finances, put the application together, have a separate loan review committee, review the loan applications, and decide whether or not to do the deal. And then your city treasurer would cut the check to the business. The business would pay the loan back to the city treasurer. But if the business is delinquent or there's a problem with it, it would be up to me as your loan administrator to make sure that we put our name on the collateral, to go sort of like run it like a regular commercial loan.
So basically, you guys do a great job.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for taking us on.
Thank you for
And
taking us
not
on.
much to start with. And so, yeah, I think economic development is necessary, and especially in a small town, in this community. And I don't think there's anyone that's gonna do a better job than you guys are doing, for what it costs us. And it sounds like if we start getting some of these grants, it's just gonna go back in the community anyway.
Yeah, yes, that USDA grant that fell through because of everything that's happening at the federal government, that was unfortunate because it was gonna be a great example of how you can let this money pile up and turn into something bigger. So you know you had 60,000 in your account in November of 2024. We applied for 99,000 from USDA. We had to have a 30% match. So we had 33,000 sitting in our bank account. We were gonna turn that into 122,000. We were gonna take 24,000 of that and put it towards our contract, and then we were gonna have 99,000 as a starting revolving loan fund. So it's unfortunate that it stalled out, I think it will probably eventually come back to life, but it would have been a great example of what you can do when you have your own money.
And Bobby, we should mention that when we talk about this sales tax, it's already a sales tax that's being collected by the city. This is not an additional sales tax. All we're asking for is 20% of that 1% to go to economic development.
Again, yes.
Again, like it did for 15 years.
Yeah, so it's not really a question. Obviously, I would love you to rehire us again. Our contract will be up in August, so I'll be coming to the council to pitch another round. And so I would love for you to do about that, but passing this economic development plan, it's not a question of whether or not the community or the city wants to hire us back. It's a question of whether or not they want to have a current economic development program again and start collecting money for it again.
Sounds like a winner.
comes down without the money, they're, you know, you're not gonna have that connect element there, good.
Well,
Connect, really.
I mean, cash is king, business grows at the speed of cash, so, for the time being, until Lincoln gets more of a whiff of how good sales tax is an excellent, as you guys have seen, sales tax is an excellent tool for you to have your own money and do things you wanna do, so, I'm a big believer in the economic development program, I'm a big believer in LB 840, and I still think that Crofton has a lot of potential to take another stab at an economic development program.
Well, with that being said, I make a motion that we move forward with 12.
Well, we gotta close the public hearing.
Well, let's do that.
Well, everybody's done talking.
Does anybody else have any comments on the matter? I'll motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, motion's been made in second.
Luke?
Yes.
I haven't told
No, I meant, did he second it?
No,
Tracy did.
Oh, Tracy.
Yeah,
You guys have to speak up.
okay, so motion's been made and seconded. Kleinschmidt? Yes. Hogstan? Glassman?
Yes.
Waberneck?
Yes.
On to the next item, we would
Those
need,
would be the resolutions.
okay, so we would need a motion to approve resolution 2-12-26-1 for the economic development plan.
Okay, so that's what I wanna ask you guys. So you should have this resolution, and it has all of this extra wording. This says what the ballot language will be. This is what I wanna ask the council. Do you think that everything that we just communicated in this room, we have time to get that message across the community by May 12th?
No. You?
I don't know. I mean, we have March and we have April, and
Oh, by May 12th, you said?
yeah, so we can get it on the May 12th ballot, which has been the plan all along, or we can get it on the November ballot. So it can go on the primary election or the general election without us having to pay for a special election. So.
By May, I think was
Okay, so if you think, so then I'll spend my time, we'll spend our time the next 2 months trying to educate the registered voters of Crofton what this economic development plan is, what it looks like going forward, and how we'll work on educating the community about this program. Not campaigning, but educating.
Okay, do you think that's enough time?
I don't know.
Well,
If you guys live here, you
Right.
know what people say about your economic development program and the questions that they have. So if you think that 2 months is enough time, you know, that's roughly touching the community once a week in one way or another. Like a couple of public meetings, a postcard mailing, in past communities, I myself have written a letter to the community just as the community's economic development consultant, your registered voter. This is the history of the economic development program. This is what it looks like going forward. So a letter mailing, a postcard mailing, and then maybe 2 community meetings, and then the yard signs. If you think that, if you feel like we can do it, if you feel like your voters would be up for it, then I'm ready to go for it. I just wanna make sure that you guys don't feel like we're, yeah. If Irma was here, she'd be burning a hole in the back of my head, cause she thinks last year was too late to get it going again, I know.
Is there another opportunity to do it in November if
Yes.
we would like to?
November would be the next
Okay.
opportunity.
Let's say it doesn't clear, let's say it doesn't pass.
No, I don't think so. I think we have to wait 2 years to try again.
Okay, this is the question.
Well, then maybe we should wait
I think we should probably wait.
until November.
With the history of my, just being just a regular citizen, seeing that the last economic development, all the grants that we're just giving away, like, it was like free money, that's all I could see, was that they were just giving free money. It's like, that's not what it's supposed to be about. When you explain, sounds so much better. You know, it's supposed to be helping the business grow, and they're responsible to pay that money back.
Yes, so it can go back out.
But that's not what I feel people maybe think it is
Right.
at this point.
They don't, because I've gotten questions by 2 residents that live in town about the grants that we
Yeah.
had given out, which
Yeah.
we've already talked about.
And those people, a lot of them have moved. They got
Then
this.
we're a little different grants too.
Those were different
Yeah.
than this?
That was
Okay.
kind of the last resort thing that they did, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it? Okay.
The ones we did in December,
I don't know.
I think when I first started working for you, which would have been December of 2024, when I started working for you, you had like, Bryce and Randy were new, you had like roughly 20-some pending grant applications. And I just, processed the applications and checked them against your plan. And if they followed your plan, then I recommended they be approved and just like get the money out. And then at that same meeting, the council also passed, was it that meeting or shortly after, the council also passed a motion to not do those grants anymore. But it was like, there were all these promises out there, so I just said, let's just get them out and get it behind us. Cause we were, I feel like we were just in a,
They were waiting on them for 2 or 3 years already. They had,
there are these pending grant applications that the council could never agree on what to do with them. And so it was like, just get it out and get it behind us, and that's what we did, but.
Just to get, okay.
Yes, and this plan does mention grants, but we would only, if I were working for you, I would only ever advise you to do maybe a forgivable loan. And we would run it, and this is another thing I think I want your committee to understand. We would run this program like a bank. You know, if the city loans the money, we'll take collateral, we'll put your name on whatever it is we're buying for the business. We'll collect, because we're also trying to help the business. It's credit too, you know, it's. So I don't know if we have enough time to get that message, to deal with the misinformation.
well,
Do
can
you
we,
think it is? Because if it fails, you have to wait 2 years.
Yeah.
yeah, can we,
We
We
can
can
approve
still
the
approve this
economic
again.
and put it
development.
on the
Yeah.
November's ballot?
This
But
is
we
the
don't
plan.
have to decide to put it on November, we could decide to put it on November ballot today, couldn't we?
Yeah,
Or
you
do we
can still
wait
do
till
that.
September?
It's just gotta be there by September 1st, but if
Okay.
you approve it tonight and get it on the ballot, that's,
Okay.
I mean, it's already done then. It's one less deadline to worry about, and we could
Yeah.
start doing community education now, we just have, like 6 more months instead of 2 months.
Well, then we're not-
I feel better about the November ballot than I would trying to rush this through.
So I'll still make a motion to accept this resolution 2/12/26/1.
I would second that. Okay, motion's been made and seconded, Rossman,
Yes.
Wabernack,
Yes.
Kleinschmidt, Hochstadt.
Yes.
Okay. Now
So-
we would.
There is a correction on page 2 then, Donna, we do the statewide general election to be held on November, whatever, 2026.
Oh, okay.
And so I think we could still do the sales tax resolution too then.
Yeah.
So we would just change it from May to November.
Yeah, whatever the general, you know, the date is,
No, I think it's the 5th, I don't know.
whatever the general election date is in November.
So now that that's passed, we would need a motion to approve resolution 2-12-26-2 to put it on the ballot for the November 2026 election.
I will make that motion to pass resolution 2-12-26-2 for the November election.
I was like,
Motion's been made and seconded. Hochstadt,
yes.
Crossman,
Yes.
Yes.
Wabernack, Kleinschmidt. Yes.
Are you back?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item we have is Mr. Miller of Miller and Associates with the Lagoon Project.
I apologize for being late. Sorry.
Perfect timing. Yeah, perfect timing.
I'd like to give you a couple of handouts. And then I thought I could give you maybe a quick synopsis. I know there's 2 new council members.
Yes.
The Luke,
Yes, nice to meet you.
Reed Miller,
Reed Miller.
Tracy
Tracy.
Austin.
Yes.
Glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Phone We started this project probably in 1921, or 2021, feels like 1921. 2021, you had a consent order for the city of Crofton in 2016. You had a couple other engineers. Sorry. I can speak up too if I need to. One. Not better. You had two other engineers look at the facilities and propose some things, and then we were hired in 2021, late 22, to do this project. They consist of basically eliminating your wastewater treatment plant in the mechanical area, pumping the water about 13,000 feet to a new lagoon in the northwest part of town. I guess the letter that I handed out is kind of a summary of the bids. Then,
Good die.
I don't know how to run.
Do we pop up?
Check, check.
No, but Luke's got one, his is working.
I know.
try that one.
Are you trying to watch it?
This is a summary. Is that on? Yeah, no, just like in here. No,
I don't
yes.
think so. No. I think our mic's dead back there.
Can you hear me? If I speak up? Okay, I can crank up the volume. I'll act like I'm talking to employees. On February 10th, this week, we had a bid letting at 2 p.m. We had great bids. We had 8 bidders. We have the 9th bidder that was late. I wanted to give this to your attorney, but I see he's not here tonight. He was late, so we didn't open it. I don't know if he's high or low, but I really think by the rules that we have and the specifications, we just return it back to him.
That's fine.
Okay? Yeah, and he wasn't late by a minute. He was, and I signed on it. He's late by 11 minutes. So that's unfortunate. The low bidder, as you can see, is 605 companies. Their total bid, and we broke up the bidders because we thought the dirt movers will have expertise, the pipe layers will have expertise. So we broke them up kind of in between the dirt and the pipe. The low bid was $3,779,932.75. They would love, I talked with them, they'd love to get started tomorrow. Okay? I think they're, what I see, maybe South Dakota's a little short of work right now. If you look at the Nebraska bidders, they're kind of in the middle. I don't know if you're familiar with any of those names, but we work all the time with Rushlands, Myers, and Van Kirk. General Excavating, they're from Lincoln. There were some minor errors. This was the actual bid tab, and I brought 4 of them. I figured I'd leave one with the clerk and one with the operator, but there's 6 pages of numbers. So there's lots of numbers. So we multiply them all, we check them, we call it checking the bid. There are some minor errors, it doesn't change any of the bids as far as who's high or low or any position. That's what we're trying to say. Our estimate that I prepared before the meeting, opened up with the bidders just like a bid, was, that's in the second to last paragraph, $4,769,405. So I didn't buy the job, the low bidder got it, so, which made me very happy. He's almost $1 million lower than my estimate, so that was good. Again, we hadn't worked with 605 companies, so I called, I asked him for references. It's he submitted 20 of them. I picked out 8 of them, and I got responses from 4 of them. I called municipalities, some counties, and some engineering firms. The 4 that I received back, or would answer me, or would call back, all said they'd hire him again. So that was kind of my critical question, would you guys come back? I also asked a question, 2 of them said they never had to have him come back for warranty work. 2 of them said he came right back and fixed what he needed to fix. So it looked encouraging. So we had a option in the bid for an alternate grinder. We had the Muffin Monster grinder, and we had this alternate grinder. And I've used the alternate grinder and the Muffin Monster. I think they're both good grinders, okay? The alternate grinder was $24,000 less, okay? So I would recommend you guys take that. And that's what the bottom part of my letter says, that you accept the bid for the original price of $3,779,932.75. And then we would prepare a change order with the contract documents, if you so desire, to deduct the $24,000. So I don't know if you want to think about that or not, but that would be our recommendation. I want to get back to, I have another handout I'd like to hand out to you. I figured this would be your major question is, where are you at with money? What do you have, what don't you have? And again, back in '23, the state gave us a offer letter, and it was $4,750,000. And I was very nervous about making the budget. I know you guys have had questions on that. We did call the state, and they would give us more monies if we needed it. It would be in loan, but not in grant. And if you remember right on the bottom, you got $3,479,375 in a loan, and you got $1,270,025 in a grant, which is the total of that $4,750,000. Our initial project estimate back in '23 and whatever, and the state made us live with that because we will ask to raise it, okay? But we had $5,000 for legal, we had roughly $500,000 for land, we had $293,000 for engineering and fees, we had $3,565,000 for site work and construction, and then we had miscellaneous of $30,000 for soils, and then we always throw in a fudge factor, okay? That's a contingency, it's a fancy word, but it's okay. And we threw in, I think, 10%. That's where the 338 came, okay? That's how they came up with 475. The other column over shows the cost that I know. That the land and the easements are about $581,000. The engineering is about the same. The construction is $200,000 higher. I threw another $10,000 in for soil investigations, which is a different firm. And that gives us a contingency now of $76,000. So if we have a problem, we still have $76,000 that we could spend. Or if you wanted to add gravel down this road, or you wanted to, the operator saw something that he wanted to, whatever. But so we are under budget. And we're under budget because we had a very, very good bid. If that bid was what I had estimated that I thought it would be, the 4.7 million, we'd be scratching for dollars. But you have to thank the South Dakota contractors, because if you look at Nebraska contractors, 5.2 million, Myers is 6.2 million, Van Kirk is 7.7 million roughly, and General Excavation only bid 1/2 of it. So we got a good bid. So I don't know what kind of questions you have from there. I guess my intent was that we prepared the notice of award. If you want to sign that and give it, get out, or whatever questions you need.
So total construction cost, you're at 4.6 million.
Yes, we are.
Without contingencies.
4.7 right now. Roughly, I'm rounding up.
Yep.
4.67, yeah.
Yep. So that estimate, or that study that you ran for our sewer rates, with Chantel, I'm pretty sure that was you, to set the sewer rates that we have now that we just accepted a couple months ago. Where is that, since we're under budget, where does that lie within what the budget is right now?
Okay.
And how much we are getting back from the state of Nebraska?
Rural Water did the original rate. And then Chantel had a question, and Donna had a question about some of the items in that rate. So we tweaked it up just a little bit, but we actually didn't do the rates, okay? So we tweaked it up. We have not looked at the rates versus that, but they based it off the 4.75, your rates. So you should be more than adequate. And, you know, I'd like to recommend you keep the 76,000. We don't have to take it, but just keep it in your hip pocket in case
Something goes wrong. Yep.
Something unforeseen has come up. Maybe you want to, control system, you don't have one now. Maybe you want, if we really come down the end of the project and we got that money left, maybe you'd want to do a control system. I know you don't have a water system, but we could do a control system that your lift stations would call the operator if it got too hot, or if the motor split. And that would buy a control system. So if you wanted to spend it, or you don't take the money and you might make a little money on the rates, and then you don't have to rate them for whatever. I mean, yeah, we just have to look at that.
What is total bid A and total bid B? What were those specifically for? What parts of the project?
Okay, bid A was the lift station. And I have these, I didn't bring enough of these, but there's the total breakout of every item, okay? I'll leave it with the clerk, and if anybody wants that, I'll leave it with your operator, and I have one other copy, but lift station, a new generator for the lift station. Of course, the site work, we have to dig the hole, and we did put in one auxiliary spare pump. So you have 2 new pumps in the hole and 1 on the shelf. If the one goes bad, this is something previous council had talked about. You don't have to go in the pit, you pull the pump out, set it aside, put the new pump in, away you go.
Is that new motors and pumps for every lift station we have, or just?
No, just the new lift
Just the
station.
new lift station, okay.
And you put new motors a year ago maybe in one of them.
I think so.
One of them, the other one is about due though.
Yeah. I knew you were gonna be, sorry, I couldn't find it. They don't have enough guts and power to push it up the hill. We can't use them. I don't know if you use them in your other lift stations or something someday, but we would salvage those if you could do what you want with them. The worst comes to worst, you put in the league magazine and sell it. But I know that they're not very old. And then there's the gravity sewer. We got a little bit of gravity sewer. You have water part coming in on the east side of your treatment plant that runs down. It's pumped up and down. Well, we grabbed that and ran gravity and eliminated that pumping. So that's a good thing. Anytime you get rid of a pump, it's a good thing. And then we put a deeper manhole in. And then we have force main, which is about 13,000 feet. And there's parts of this force main, like we pushed under a lot of driveways, under wetlands, so we didn't have the environmental stuff. And contractors now can push so much easier than they could 20 years ago. Almost every contractor can push stuff now. So we've got a bunch of push, direct drill is what we call it. But then we had to do an encasement pipe across the highway up north for the state of Nebraska. They make you push a steel pipe. It's called bore and jack. They put the steel pipe down, run an auger through it, pull the dirt out, weld another steel pipe to it, push it, and then you put your carrier pipe through there. So if it ever leaks, it doesn't take the highway out, it squirts water out. So that's kind of what A was. B is the lagoon. There's some control structures, some concrete control structures up there. There's some inside piping that we can run to different cells. Your lagoons are set from the east to the west to try to save dirt moving. The first two are level, the next one's down a step, and the third one's down another step. Okay? So, yeah, you've heard the old term, water runs down. Okay? Of course, we've got to seed it, then we're going to put concrete riprap or rock riprap around the edges so it doesn't erode. One of the unique features of this design was we have a lot of acres of runoff that comes through the site. So we put a 60-inch pipe through one of the dikes to drain to the north property, okay? So that's included. And that's some of the reasons why I thought this bid might be pretty high, but great, yeah. Now, the state of Nebraska requires 2 foot of water when they leave the site from the contractor, or you, but we require the contractor to fill it, 2 foot. Water's hard to get around here, but that's in his bid.
It is in it.
It's all in his bid, yes, yeah.
Lagoons, are they bentonite lined? Are they linered?
Well, that's one of the reasons why I put that soils number in there, 40,000, okay?
Okay.
If you remember right, we had some guys go out and drill and they did 5 holes.
Yep.
We looked at that, from those 5 holes, we couldn't tell how much clay we really had, okay? So then we went back and you guys approved another soils guy to go out and drill 14 more, okay? Then we tried to computer model from those boring logs how much clay we had in there. We guessed here and there and whatever, but we kind of had an envelope of clay. We believe there's enough clay, okay? If there is enough clay, then we don't have to add any bentonite. Okay, I put that in the bid. I put 400 tons of clay in the bid, and that bid price is $122,000. Well, it's $122,100. If we don't need it, we're not going to buy it.
Right.
We don't have to buy it. So we could potentially save that.
Is there a warranty on, what is the warranty on something like that? What if it leaks? What if
Okay.
What if it leaks in? What if the bentonite or the clay doesn't hold its viscosity and leaks through?
Before they leave the site, we have to do 40 tests in all these cells. And I'm about 10 tests a cell. And it takes a long time. That's your approval.
So 10 months after the project is complete and we're leaking, one of the holding lagoons is dry, what happens?
Well, then we look at the soils and say, why is it leaking? We got a year guarantee.
That's my question.
We do
Is
have
it
a year guarantee. I think we have,
Is there a workman's warranty on this, workmanship warranty?
well, there's a bid, a warranty bid, and a performance bid.
Performance.
Okay, performance bid.
Yep.
Okay, so there's not bid, bond.
Bond.
There's a warranty bond, I was thinking bid bond.
Yep.
A warranty bond and a workmanship bond. So,
Have they had anybody come back on them for a bond? The 605, have you checked on that?
not the references of.
Nobody's pulled any bond.
Yeah. The gentleman from Sioux Falls, can't think of his name right now, but, was an engineer. They've done 4 jobs in 4 years for them. And, he felt like they were very capable of conforming to plans and specs. So they wouldn't have hired him 4 years, I don't think, in a row. That's why I picked that one. It wasn't a one and done, it was 4 years that they had hired him, so.
Okay, thank you.
The pumps, and I have to look, I think the pumps in the hole at the treatment plant, to pump up the hill, I think those are 5 years, and I think the grinder's 3 years. So those are the 2 mechanical parts that will fail. But the rest is pretty, other than the sea beach, there's not a whole lot, there's pipe, pump up the pipe and dump it out into the lagoon, so. I do wanna say that those lagoons won't fill up just like that. It might take a couple of years, and we'll probably go all out when we get going here, but, yeah, and you don't want them to fill up that fast, okay? Because we're gonna rely on evaporation and a little sea beach. We don't want, the soil up there, the state has like 10 to the -7 centimeters seepage is what they'd like, okay? Some of that soil's 10 to the -9. It's 100 times tighter than that. Some of it's sand, okay? So we'll have to have the soils guy out there helping them construct. You can use this material for liner, you can't use this material for liner. So then they build it all, and then we go out and test all these holes. I pick the spots usually. I'm not on site during how they tested it, so, I don't let the contractors pick the spots. I just want one on that slope, and one on that slope, and one down here, and one down. They're just random spots, so we've never had that trouble, after all the tests have failed. I've had tests fail, we reworked areas or bottoms or slopes, but never after all the tests. Yeah. The South Dakota contractors were not familiar with all that testing, and they were shocked at how much testing Nebraska requires on the lagoon line. But we have so much sand here. I mean, Kearney, it's sandy down there. Yeah, you got a little bit of topsoil and you're done, so. But one other thing I'd like to mention too, on the water. We gave the contractor 180 days. Let's say they were all done, like this by you, and they're getting 75 gallons a minute pumped. And then maybe, all the cells are done, and we're pumping up 60,000, 50,000 a day. Would you care if they pumped another month or 2 or 3 months if they're done? I mean, nobody needs to watch them. All we have to do is fill it up to 2 foot. And I just didn't want everybody to think, boy, they're not done 180 days doing a slab head. The water is very hard around here. I mean, your water is kind of expensive. If they buy it from you guys, or yeah, you know, $5, $6 a 1,000 gallons, we're talking 20 million plus. And then all you guys know that when it rains, you can put a half inch on, it's gone. That doesn't count in your 2 foot. So they're gonna have more than 20 million gallons. So it's gonna take them a while to pump those full. But I'm really not concerned about
Can
that.
we still use the lagoons while they're pumping the water?
Yes, that's what, yeah, and yeah, we definitely do that. And that, he'd be more than happy, because that would help it,
Right.
actually. I think it would be a symbiotic relationship.
Right.
What's your plan or the, you know, the construction or the bidder's plan to get that 20 to 22 million gallons?
I don't know. It's $120,000 in here to get it there, I think. Let me look again for water. No, I'm wrong. It's $166,000 for water for the job. He's gonna need water also to build. We'll have to mix water in with that soil because it's too dry. It won't,
Hauling all this in with.
it won't compact, it won't bond, yep. So he's gotta have that water, plus he's gotta have the 20+ million gallons, okay? I don't know how he's gonna get it. That, we left it up to him. He might buy it directly. I know, Donna, you've had some people call and ask. He's got property owners, he's talked to NRDs. So, that's his problem. We're gonna pay him. So.
Are you concerned about overruns on just the water portion?
It's lump sum.
Lump sum?
Lump sum.
Can't go over 166.
We did the same thing, we do a lot of that. On the pipe, we pay them per foot. We can't be off very many feet unless we change a route or something like that, okay? On the lagoon, the dirt quantities are lump sum. Okay, both the excavation, the stripping, all that stuff is one price. Now, if the contractor came to us and said, you are totally off on your dirt quantities, then we'd probably have to sit down and talk to him and then come back to you, but we're not. We're not. Same way with the rock riprap around the edge. That's all, established quantity lump sum. Boom, that's it. So if they get, we just have to make sure that we survey it and make sure they cut it according to grade. Make sure they get the liner in there. Make sure they, get the riprap around the edge. We don't care how much dirt they have to really do it. What we've calculated is, we said it's this much, and that's all we're paying. So I don't foresee a lot of overruns. Honestly, I really don't. This is pretty hard to change.
It's been a long time coming.
Yes.
Just did that.
What should we expect for maintenance costs on the incinerator or replacing one of the pumps if we have to? And how hard are they to work on? Is that something that we can take care of on our own, or?
I could even pull a pump. Okay, okay, so your utility people can really pull a pump.
Yeah.
We'll have a hoist there. We'll have a hoist that'll pick up the grinder and or either pump.
Okay.
The grinder is extremely heavy. I think it's 1,300 pounds. It's heavy duty grinder, okay? So the winch is, I think 250 pounds.
Okay.
And it fits into the socket, and we bolt it on. We just leave it out there. We put it out there, it's stainless steel. So there's a winch, you grab it, you pull it up, and then you swing it over. I don't know put it back to pick up, whatever, okay. Your site's tight, we had to put a little retaining wall on the west side. I hate to say this, but motors and pumps right now, I look at them as throwaway. There's not a lot of repair. I mean, I just worked on a vent for a restaurant, exhaust vent, and it was a simple one-horse, three-phase motor, and you throw it away. And it was there about 15 years, and you throw it away. We used to change bearings and bushings and all that kind of stuff in it, not anymore, so. But we have that pump on the shelf. I'm not so worried about the grinder. If the grinder goes, then the water still flows in the pit and it still gets pumped. The pumps will only pass a 3-inch solid. Okay, so if you do have a 2x4 come down the sewer, which I've seen, a short one, it's not gonna go and clog your pipe. Okay, but the grinder's there and it's gonna grind up much finer than that. But if the grinder's not there, there's an overflow and it runs out the sides and falls into the pit and then you pump it. So the grinder can be broken for a year and you're fine. Okay?
Dale, do you have any questions? Dale? Do you have any questions?
He's asking you. Yep. Let me grab it.
A few questions that came to my mind, and I'll have you address them.
Okay.
Maybe you can help. The need for the size of the four lagoons. Maybe you explained that already. And then another question came to my mind. People have always asked me, why are they building 4 pond lagoons on your property? Why are you proposing to do that? And why don't they just settle for 2? Can you explain that? Why don't they just dig the ponds deeper?
Okay. I guess the first question is, why do we build them that big? Based on the flow in 22, I believe, the average was 65,000 gallons. Based on seepage of, the state requires 1/8, we base it on 1/16. You need this 40 acres, okay? The piece of ground that we have is rectangular, so it fits to do cells down. The state requires 3 cells. They like to have 2 primary cells and then a secondary cell to polish it off. The reason we didn't do that is because we could only get the upper 2 level. And then we had to drop down and get the next one, and we couldn't make it level unless we either moved in a lot of dirt or excavated a lot of dirt to get the bottom 2 level. So we kind of had to stair step them down. So we conformed to the, it was a terrible site, you guys, as far as hills and mountains and that. That has nothing to do with Dale, but it's a tough site to design, I'm telling you. We worked hard on getting the dirt quantities set. So that's the answer to the first one. The state requires that big because of your flow. As you line, things might get slower. I would hope, I know you've done some lining, right? Then you probably, what you do is you not put water in the lower cell. You put it in the first 2. So the piping goes to the first 2 cells that are level. And then you can run out of this one, or you can run out of the other one down to 3. And then you go down to 1. But if you get a real rainy season, then we're not average flow of 65. And I don't know what your flows are now, since line.
That's, they're probably a little
putting 2 foot of fill in at 20 million. 1 foot is 10 million, 6 inches of extra rain is 5 million gallons, okay? And we got all these banks coming down, so, the lagoons are based on a lot of averages. Average rainfall, average precipitation, average evaporation, and we don't have that here. We got Nebraska weather, so that's why they're built that way, okay? And number 2 is, you have to have a minimum of 3, we did 4. Number 1 is to run that pipe through the dike and to balance the stair step. I know that's hard to see in the plans, but we stair step. Anything else? Dale, did you have one?
So we would just need a motion to approve the bid. Says here,
605.
605 companies. That's what you guys want.
May I ask where
With the
they're
alternate.
located at? We can do that, but where is 605? I didn't do any searching. Where are they out of? Huron, Mitchell,
Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls?
Sioux Falls.
They are out of Sioux Falls, okay, that's fine.
And/or, I got calls from Denver also,
Oh,
okay?
Oh.
Yeah, so they
that
had,
figures in.
yeah, they had Denver call, which really confused me, because I talked to Matt during the bid and doing this, and then all of a sudden this other guy calls me, it's 605, but it's a 303 number instead of a 605.
This is, yeah.
So,
Okay,
yeah, it was,
that's all.
yeah.
Thank you.
And I should have put that on all those bids, maybe where those were from, but,
That's okay. Thank you.
Looks good.
Well, I'll motion to accept 605 companies as the main contractor for this project.
And do we have to do the alternate grinder with it too?
Yes,
Change
we
order.
It'd be great to say,
Yeah.
with the
He's
deduct,
got it right here.
yep, for change order for $24,000.
So recommend, or 605 companies bid to accept contract award for $3,779,932.65 with a bid deduct change order of $24,000 for an alternate grinder option contingent upon the CWSRF approval and authorized given to your authorized representative for executive agreements.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Kleinschmidt?
Yes.
Hogstad?
Yes.
Rossman?
Yes.
Waterman?
Thank you. We'll process pay request, we'll have inspectors up here. That's in our contract. Our contract is written in 22. I might go back and look at that and maybe ask on the hour, the inspection's hourly. We would try to cut that out a little bit, but I might come back and ask you for an adjustment for 4 years, so, okay.
When do you have tentative construction cost, or tentative construction
If
start
you
date?
sign that award bid, we will prepare the contract documents, send it to the contractor, send it to your attorney.
Yep.
And then we get that back and then we'll award it, but I'll make sure you all get invited.
Yeah.
I know you can only have 2 there or something, whatever, but that'll be up to you guys. But I welcome anybody that wants to get involved with it so you know what's going on.
So is Mr. Gunther's land approval, everything already approved? So we could pay him, or now do we have to approve something else? Is
I
that
don't really
ready to go?
know. Mr. Gunther's land.
Did they get the lease to your satisfaction?
Yeah, the paperwork's been signed
Paperwork's been signed?
and notarized,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got
So,
it.
and Donna, you know if you need help with pay requests,
Okay.
you call
Yeah.
David or, yeah, okay, seriously, call me if you want.
Do I need to send this to them, or should we have it signed and you send it to them?
If you want to, if you sign, get it signed, I would,
I'll
that's
look
a
at it when I
notice of
sign it
award
now.
that we awarded.
You sending that to our attorney? Or do you send that to our attorney? Who sends this to our attorney?
This is just the award, what company we chose.
We haven't
The
got the contract out.
he
We're
doesn't-
just telling them, you got the job.
Then they
Just so
work on the
he's
contract.
aware, just so he's aware that we are switching through. That we don't know, but.
We can send a copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Don?
You just need Randy's,
Yep, Randy's, and then,
that's 605, so just Randy.
yeah, just Randy's, and then we send it off to them, they sign it, come back, and we do
Yeah.
the contract documents.
It's just an award.
Because you're not
It's just
committed
who you-
to the contract.
Yeah, it's just who we're awarding the award to, then they negotiate the contract with the attorney's approval. You can sign one for
I'll leave you a couple of those, when somebody wants them, I don't know if anybody wants a copy of these. These are all the bid prices and all the bidders. I'll leave them down
And
in
then
the.
you want to let them know Randy signed that. So, great, thank you, Reed.
Thank you.
You bet, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dale.
Appreciate working here and, always enjoy it. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dale.
Thanks, Dale.
Okay, Roger's not here. Next item would be Roger Fox and Mateo, but I don't see it. So with that, we go back to five-rule planning.
I'm coming.
Okay.
I was hoping Roger was here.
No.
Okay, so then this portion on the agenda is, maybe you noticed in the claims, but we have a 2-year contract with you and we invoice quarterly. And then, I hope it went through. We submit a timesheet with every invoice. And then we get a little report on what we worked on. Well, I would call it little, and most people want me to stop talking usually, but we give a report on what we've done in the last 3 months and what we have planned for the next 3 months. So, in these past 3 months, Lowell's been back and forth. We were able to get some funds, some unmatched funds. I think it was $24,000 for a tree grant, so 29,000. So, if you remember the Inflation Reduction Act that was passed a while ago, I don't understand it, but it put a whole bunch of money for communities in disadvantaged counties to get unmatched grants to plant more trees, which ironically drove up the cost of certain species of trees because they'll only do so many certain trees, but anyway, that's just a side note. So we applied, Donna did 1 year and then we applied the second round. We got the second round, so we were able to get 29,000 funds that you didn't have to match to do tree removal and tree planting. So we're done with the tree removal, and I believe they were in town with Lowell today. So they're with the Nebraska Arboretum. They were in town today inspecting the tree removal, and then probably soon we'll be replacing the trees we planted by planting new trees. So Lowell was back in the corner. He was working on a letter of support, and he's the one that's been mainly working on that. A while back, we had applied for a water security grant with the, I call them the WE now, Nebraska Water and Environment and Energy, I think. And out of the blue, I heard from Jessica Johnson, and she said your grant had been approved. So it was $10,000, and it was for well treatment sites and water testing sites. And it had been Bob's project, so I don't know who you want to hand that off to.
Oh, it's already started.
Oh, okay, so we're good to go. Okay, so you saw, did you get a letter from Jessica, or was it just
Yep.
an email I sent you?
Yeah, and then Dustin actually had to give them a map of where the sites are going to be, the 4 sites, and they've already approved that, and told him he's already ready to order the testing, order the testing sites.
Okay, so your water security grant is underway then, okay. And then what I was just in the back working on is we're gonna try again on the CCCFF, Civic and Community Center Financing Fund. So this is a grant program that is through the state of Nebraska. When the, it was called the Quest Center, I don't know what it is now, but when the Quest Center went in however many years ago, and then Pinnacle Bank Arena went in, the deal with the East Coast senators, Lincoln and Omaha senators, and the rest of the state was that some of the funds generated off of these event centers would be put aside, set aside in a trust, and then the rest of the state would have access to these funds for community facilities, community centers, et cetera. So it's called CCCFF, worst acronym ever, Civic and Community Center Financing Fund. Last year we applied for the bathhouse and we didn't get it. We're trying again this year. We're applying for $375,000. We have roughly, I think, $630,000 of local donations, local funds raised, and then we have your sales tax. We're not using the sales tax towards your match right now. We're just saying that we have the sales tax to keep supporting the pool. So, some point, I just emailed a finished letter to use on it. If we could print it, we need to print it and have Randy sign it, and then be able to scan it in. So, we got updated numbers from Bryce right before the meeting, and that application is due on Sunday. So, we were here last month and got a letter of intent signed, and then Lowell and I, it's a bad habit or a good habit, I don't know, but we do our best work leading right up to the deadline. So somehow it all just magically comes together. So that is due on the 15th. And then the reason I brought my little box up here is I have some presents. I think they're presents. We completed your housing study. So as part of that LB 840 plan that you just passed, if you read through the plan, it mentions a workforce housing action plan. So if you're going to have a workforce housing action plan, and if you're going to use that sales tax money to support workforce housing, you have to have a housing study that backs up what you think workforce housing is. And so we brought you a draft of it, but we have I don't know if you want to keep these copies. If you don't, maybe you could leave them at the office or give them back to me, because we have it electronically. But we have your updated City of Crofton housing study. So you two have not met Jordan, but Jordan's up in Long, joined our team in August. He graduated from Kearney High, he went to school in Kearney, and he moved on eventually to Washington University, which is in St. Louis, Missouri, and plans to be a professor, but it's not a great time to start out your career in academia if you're going to be a professor, and he wanted to do more working and less researching. So he joined our team in August, and he's been a great fit, and he is the one that finished up your housing study for you. So he sent those with me tonight because this is ready to go. It's not really something that you adopt, but it is something that it is your housing study. I'm saying you more like accept it, right? Because you haven't read it, you don't know if you agree with the data that's in it or not, but it basically looks at the housing stock that you have, the age of housing that you have, projects your population, and then also compares what your household incomes are right now, what your employer wages are right now, and the type of housing stock that actually would be affordable housing in Crofton. So you'll need this housing study. You'll need to have this housing study in order for your workforce housing action plan to be a legal document in order to legally use your LB 840 funds for workforce housing projects once we get that passed. So that's something that we just finished up. And then another thing that was part of our scope of work to get done for you in the last 2 years was your comprehensive development plan. So it's not done yet, but your planning and zoning guide will tell you that your zoning regulations, if you're going to have and enforce zoning, the state does not make you have zoning. You guys are doing that by choice. But if you are going to have and enforce zoning regulations, you have to have a comprehensive plan. So if you're going to regulate somebody's private property, then you have to have a reason for doing it. You have to have a rationale for it. And that is supposed to be your comprehensive plan. Consequently, you're also much more competitive in grant applications if you can refer to a current comprehensive plan. So this is not ready to be adopted. There is one document in here. It's your future land use map. and I'm about to hand this out to you, that future land use map will eventually reflect your zoning map. So we'll need to work with the planning commission now that we have a final draft for you. We're a little bit out of order, but Lowell and I decided that your CCFF application we think it will be more competitive if we have a current comprehensive plan to refer to. So we'll be referring to it as the comprehensive plan that was presented to the council February 2026. But I'm gonna give it to you now, because it's a draft for you to do in your, some light reading for you in your spare time. People would say read this when you can't fall asleep, but I actually find it very exciting, so I don't read it when I can't fall asleep, but you guys might be in a different place. So you recently completed your ECAP, which was good, your entrepreneurial community activation process. And so the university worked with you on some community meetings, a survey, and then I believe you have a wrap-up meeting or a survey review on Monday night. So we incorporated some of those ECAP results in here. And then towards the back, there's this map, your future land use map. And that is, we haven't shown this to the planning commission yet. We haven't worked with the planning commission yet. But your planning commission would really, so as you make zoning decisions, your future land use map and your zoning map should match each other. So you have like what your planned future uses are. The example I want to use, I don't have a good example to use here, but it's already in my mind. So let's say you have like future residential on the edge of town, and then somebody wants to do a feedlot or, heaven forbid, a wind farm, and your future land use, and you tell them, they apply for their rezoning, and you tell them no, your comprehensive plan and your future land use map is supposed to limit your liability of being sued over your zoning regulations. So I don't know if you follow current events lately, but your county commissioners have been in the news for making zoning regulations or making decisions denying permits that would otherwise match their zoning regulations. So if you have something come before you, a land use that you don't think is good for Crofton, your future land use map can protect you. It also can help you from the perspective of trying to add houses, is figuring out what parts on the edges of Crofton would be best to expand residential. Now I come from the Sandhills, so I know that we don't sell land. I know that we have money, we buy cows or land, but every so often a farmer may choose to part with some acres next to town, and I like you to have an updated future land use map so you're ready to act if that opportunity comes along again. So there's your draft comprehensive plan. So that's what we've been up to for the past 3 months. Depending on how tonight went, I didn't know if I'd really be doubling down on educating the community for your LB 840. I think I'll still start that process, start working on getting the word out that you have an updated plan, but I won't be as aggressive with it since we have 6 months and not 2 months. The last present I have for you, and since Jordan joined our team, he thinks I'm a hot mess, so he's got me all these extra things to carry stuff around. So when he packed me in today, he put these documents in here. This last thing I'm going to show you, I think, comes from a conversation that an idea Jordan proposed to you guys last month, or the last time we were here. So you guys probably get those municipal magazines, and they show you all these great infrastructure projects that other towns are doing, and you're like, why can't we do that? It's usually CDBG, Community Development Block Grant Funds. Those come from Department of Housing and Urban Development. Communities that are 50,000 and bigger, they get a direct allocation and get to spend their CDBG money how they want. And so in Nebraska, that's Grand Island on up. Everybody else has to compete, and then the state gets the rest of the CDBG money, and everybody else in the state has to compete for it. Only communities that are deemed by some magical formula that the census has, that Jordan can't even figure out how they do it, it's not available how they do it, but the census basically determines which communities are more than 51% low to moderate income. So 9 times out of 10, when you see a big infrastructure project in a community, if it was funded by CDBG, they're probably low to moderate income. So one thing we think, we have never done this before. Now, Crofton is not low to moderate income, not even close. I think you're like 30%. One thing that we want to try, we've never tried before, but we think we could identify a couple of residential blocks in Crofton, and we would have to income survey those residents, but I think we could identify some low-income neighborhoods. So maybe Crofton is not, the entire community is not a low-income community, but maybe there are some blocks or some lengths of street where your houses are much older and your streets are in the worst shape. Maybe we could income survey those blocks and then apply for at least a streets project, if we can prove that those blocks are at least low to moderate income. So this is, earlier this year, we're in 2026, earlier in 2025, summer 2025, you might have saw a gentleman walking around town. His name was Edgar. He walked all your streets and sidewalks, basically, and graded your streets, the condition of your streets. Yep, the presence and condition of your sidewalks, and then where you did and didn't have curbs. The reason he did that was for the transportation section in your comprehensive plan that we're required to have by law. This map is just a blow up of, so this is all your residential units. Most community development block grants for street projects, they're along residential streets, not commercial streets. There's one particular program called Downtown Revitalization, and we'll talk about that one day someday. So this is the condition of your streets. That's the green is good, yellow is some repair, red needs the most repair. And then first we did the condition of your housing, and we used to do that manually and drive up and down your streets, but then I started using the assessor's data because we can get the assessor's data now, and the assessor has the most current accurate data about the real property in your county as anybody else. But the assessor has marked most of your properties as average, so that wasn't very helpful. So we decided just to go with your age of home. So the dark red, the maroonish, those were homes were built before 1900. We kind of decided that the older the house is, maybe the more likely you are to have residents that would be considered low to moderate income. I hate that term, low to moderate income, because it can really be all over the board. It really depends in the eyes of the almighty HUD. It's the size of your household and your total household income. So if there's any blocks on here where you're pretty sure more than 51% of the residents of those blocks would be low to moderate income, and that's a street that you think we would want to apply, that we need to work on, then we could apply. We first have to income survey and prove that that portion of town is actually low to moderate income, and then we could apply for, we could start with the streets project. So CDBG, you can apply for up to $450,000, and then you have to match 20% of what you ask for. So if you think there's a neighborhood you want to identify, we've never done it before, but we're willing to try if you are. So these are also residents that would be willing to tell us. And we don't say, what do you make? We ask you what your household size is, and then we say, is your income above or below this number? And of course, it's confidential. It comes to us through a third party, but I know that can get, people do not like to tell the government what their income is. Unless you're me, and it's in all of the minutes of all your clients.
Should we study the map and get back down now, but
That's fine. So
Study the map in the streets.
the application is due September 15th. Lowell and I think we're pretty good at writing. He's not here, so I can tell you we're pretty good at writing those applications quickly. So we'll be back in May. We can decide in May if you want to pick out a block to do it on. Try it in. So
thank you.
yeah, do you guys have any other questions for me on here?
So, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Bobby.
Okay, with that, we need to look at the resolution for banking signatures 2-12-26-3. We would need a motion to approve it. It's basically a resolution to remove Mr. Pites and Mr. Evans from banking signatures, being able to do banking signatures when the city and needs to.
So she knows about this stuff.
You have to read the resolution out
But yeah,
loud.
I've read those all originally.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded, Wagoner,
Yes.
Kleinschmidt, Hochstadt,
Yes.
So
Rossman. Yes.
I'm gonna read through it, I'll contact them. And then,
And with that, we would need a motion to approve the new garbage contract with Waste Connections.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
same time executive.
Motion's been made and seconded, Hochstadt,
That's to
Yes.
finalize
Rossman,
master revision.
Wagoner, Kleinschmidt.
We're gonna have a new map, so.
Okay, with that, we would need a motion to approve the $2,000 payments to baseball and softball associations.
2,000 per.
Approve 2,000 per.
That we done last year.
Well,
So they've been doing for.
yes.
Motion's
But
been
I'll
made
have
and
a copy.
seconded. Rossman. Yes. Wagoner.
Yes.
Kleinschmidt.
Yes.
From GIS.
Hochstadt.
Yes.
Okay, with that,
Right.
we
That's what we're
have-
using for-
would like to talk about the results of the pool town hall meeting and review the splash pad ideas and locations.
Maps, yeah.
Yeah, so we had a town hall meeting a few weeks ago here to discuss
Well, I'd probably.
and have an open meeting with residents to discuss the pool and possibly a splash pad.
Yeah, well, and
We had Bloomfield has a company, and it's in your packet, Bloomfield has a company that they are purchasing a splash pad from. And I had gotten some ideas from them. I actually gave it to the high school kids for all of the lifeguards, the managers, and they came up with the two best options, which were option C and option K. Stuff that, you know, kids won't climb on, like the rocks and all that other stuff, but it's still interactive, there's a table and, you know, still interactive. There are prints up
It's
at the
digital.
tables of blow-ups of what it would look like.
Anybody want them? Pass them out.
Yeah, there's some prints up there, if you wanna look at the renderings of what it potentially looks like. That is option K. So with this conversation, we need to talk about location.
Well, regulations are.
Where the new bathhouse will be built,
I have.
there's enough room for option K to fit where the baby pool is right now and not obstruct any of the parking space. We will have to go to the east and pull it out to the east, but it won't obstruct any or come in contact with the parking space. I know there's questions on fences and hours of operations, but we can get into the management aspect at another time. I just wanted to make sure that everybody was well aware. There's also bids in your packets for option C and K. I'm not a fan of C, I think it's too bulk, plain and boring. Plus, we have the money to do the splash pad. So we have the money to do the splash pad. I think that we kind of go all out on this one and make it interactive and fun for everyone in the town.
So do we have the option, I like these two colorful things, I think they're ladybugs. Do we have the option to move them to option K, or do we just are stuck with option
You're
K?
stuck with the package that you
Okay.
buy, there's no, there's no
just
mix and matching. Cause I wanted to put like a couple ton buckets in here too, but,
Sanitary,
Is
so
it
they're
that
usually
color?
available.
Is it different colors? Is it gonna be plastic?
no, we can pick the color. Yeah, we can pick the color of what the features are. Yeah, we get to pick the color, and then I think we also get to pick the color of the table as well. So yeah, it's just an open opinion, and if everybody kind of likes the location, you know, we talked with the pool managers, lifeguards, the meeting, there was some daycare providers here as well that, you know, spent a lot of time. Me personally, my wife spent some time here too. The baby pool area where it fits and sits is really a good location because you can sit and manage the pool. If you're older kids, like my older kid would be in the pool, or my youngest one would be at the splash pad. Just kind of keep the eyes. We had also thought of taking it and putting it on the west side of the pool. There is enough room in that area, but you get full shade. There's no sunlight. So it'd be cold all the time. The way these work, option K would have two 2-inch water lines, and then 2 4-inch drains. And the baby pool has that capacity already with that water supply that's there, plus the drains are there, so it'd be less plumbing, saving us costs. This would be, well, can we, yeah, so we can tie this in. So I had, so we'll just tie this in with the bathhouse conversation since that's on the next one, if that's okay with everybody.
Yeah.
So I had been in conversation with our attorney, Yankton's attorney, the League of Municipalities, and everybody that I had spoken to said that if it was a community-funded project, that we wouldn't have to send the project out to a bid. Speaking with the Crofton Foundation and the Nebraska Foundation, where the money is housed, a large portion of where the money is housed, they would have to write a check to the city of Crofton and then pay the contractor. The check can't come from the foundation to pay the contractor. So the city has to be tied into this. So in that aspect, we will have to hire our own engineer and do a bid package for the bathhouse. Kind of, it sets us back. We were hoping that a timeline could be in March when we could start this, if we could have had it a community project. We can still host it as a community project and have our local people bid the project. And that's what I'm gonna encourage everybody to do. But we will have to hire an engineer. The city will have to hire an engineer, which I have a few in mind that I have already spoken with and will talk to get a solid number. I don't have a number tonight, but we will have to hire somebody. And I don't have a timeline on how long they could be. They could be up to another 2 to 3 months before they can, depending on how busy they are, to see if they can get a bid package out to get bids proposed. So I don't have a set date right now. It'd be more conversations tomorrow, but we are running up against a timeline. If it is 2 to 3 months before they can even get a bid out the door, do we open the pool?
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
Do we open the pool, or do we like this, and do we start with this? We don't have to, so we can, since this is already engineered, the way this works is a package. So like Bloomfield bought a package, we will buy a package from this company. We can then, in return, since it's donated funds, we can do this ourselves. So we can hire local people to do that.
Can the
Just
pool
already
be started before the pool house is?
Can
I mean,
the,
if we, are we ready to start building the pool?
the pool?
Yeah.
We don't have the funds to do the pool.
We would just be making improvements to our current
There'd be
pool.
improvements to our current pool.
Right.
Can't that be done before the clubhouse is built?
But we don't have those done yet.
So for right now, what we would be going forward with would be the bathhouse plus the splash pad at this time. Because we don't have the down payment to secure the loan at the F&M Bank for the contract, to finish the contract out with JEO and the zero entry. So you talked about using the sales tax money for lifeguard towers, a step, hand railings, possibly a new pool heater, stuff like that. So it'd be upgrades to the pool itself.
And none of that is designed yet either. We have to design that yet, so it would be about the same timeline as we could start on the shower house.
Yep, technically. So yeah, a little bit of hiccup in the bathhouse, but if this is how we need to do this to be legal and get it done correctly, then this is the route that we need to take. So I just need the okay from everybody to approach engineers and get a bid and get
I
a
think
set
we
of.
gotta move forward. That's all it's doing.
Right.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we have the money there to do it, so we need to do it and get it spent, so. And we got the blessing from the Gunther family to move forward and continue this, so yes, we need to get it done.
Why don't we have you check with an engineer,
Okay.
see what he can get done, and if we need to have a special meeting in a couple of weeks, we can have special meetings.
To approve an engineer?
Yep,
Okay.
because it's time to move forward.
Right.
Okay. would just hate to have it, they can't get the construction documents done. I just hate that they can't get the construction documents done for another 3 to 6 months, well, maybe 6 months, let's just say 2 to 3 months. You know, and we could have the pool open until the end of July. I don't know.
And then we have 1 month.
Let me follow up with a couple engineers and see what they're the fastest they can get a bid package out, and then we'll reconvene on that, and we'll follow up with that. What's the latest that we can
Yeah.
wait to know?
I did just want to say that hiring guards or making sure our guards can get certified, because a lot of the certification classes they start in March and April. So they're getting signed. We have kids that are planning on getting certified as a just in case, but there are kids that would only work in Crofton. So if there isn't going to be a pool, that would affect their plans. But they are signing up for those classes right now, and they start in March and April. So that is that's a bit of a time
We'll
thing. And then
definitely try.
scheduling Scott to come and paint and do what he needs to do to the pool,
Yep.
which isn't much. I think you said it was in decent shape.
We'll try to get you an answer way before then.
I'm gonna try to get you an answer by Monday, I'm hoping, Monday or Tuesday.
That'd be great. I mean, we'd love to see the pool open for as much as it could be open, because it's
Right.
gonna be a long summer. The
Right.
last day of school is May 11th, and then the first day of the next school year is August 25th, with the construction of elementary. That's set in stone now. So it's gonna be a really long summer. So for the families in town that do use the pool and daycares that use the pool, it would be a hardship if the pool is just gonna sit there and nothing happens. I mean, I don't think that would, I just don't think that would be good in the community's eyes, for it just to sit there.
Yep.
And if we have to close it early, we could to
That's
start.
another thought too, is if we
Yeah,
did have
if
to
we open
close it
it,
early,
then-
then,
I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
For the people who are patrons of the pool.
So do we plan on opening the pool now, or we wait till we have a special meeting?
We gotta wait.
give me
Okay.
a couple days here, give me
Okay.
tomorrow and Monday, and I'll try to have an answer to you Monday.
Okay.
And we can communicate with all of the kids that we need to communicate. We communicate with Tiff and I.
Sorry it's taking so long too, so.
No.
I was just gonna say that if, you can get an engineer, architect to give us a solid date on when a bid set would be out. I don't know what the time frame. Do we have to give them a week? I mean, what is the time frame as far as the bidding time, right, from the time they release documents? Because, I mean, obviously, I'm ready to go.
Yep.
Well, the only place that's probably gonna get advertised is in our local paper.
Right.
So.
But we have to advertise it, and we have to have, everybody's
A
gonna
set
have to
time
bid.
with
If
sealed
somebody
bids.
wants to bid, you have to bid apples to apples and give everybody the opportunity. But yes, you're correct, we do have to advertise it in the paper.
But if you can get an absolute timetable on that,
Okay.
I mean, then we can decide whether or not, because once the bid letting happens, the next day we can be ripping the thing down.
Absolutely.
I was actually gonna meet the gas guy down at the pool tomorrow morning to turn the gas off. Like that's how close we were, but, you know, whatever, yeah.
I'll get an answer out to everybody as soon as possible too. I
So
have
how long do you have to have the bidding out there in the papers? Is it just one publication?
Correct,
Okay,
yep,
okay.
yep,
So
one
it doesn't have to be
publication
like-
in the paper.
It could be a week or something.
That's it?
Yep, one publication in the
That's
paper,
it,
yep. That's all I had. Does anybody have any issues with the splash pad idea or locations?
It's great. Looks great.
So I have a question. Can the splash pad be constructed or worked on if the pool house is not like torn down and like the pool is open? Can that be done? You know, this,
Yes.
I didn't know if it was
Yes.
possible to do those at the same time.
Yeah, because there's no engineering hold back, you know, nothing holding us back.
And it's
from
not
doing
gonna
splash pad.
encroach upon the current footprint of the,
No,
okay, I was just curious if that was like.
no, and we could zone that out too, so.
Okay, anything else for the pool?
That's all I had.
Okay. So you're gonna talk to the engineers, we're gonna wait, see what they say, and then have a special meeting to discuss opening the pool.
And hopefully, and
Hopefully.
signing the engineer to to a
And
contract.
the splash pad?
Yeah.
You said the splash pad could be done anytime.
I
'Cause you
mean,
said
if
that
you
you-
wanted to buy, if we wanted to sign the contract for the splash pad tonight, we can make that happen. Or do we wanna wait? It does not matter. I was just proposing a couple ideas. This is what the high school kids like, this is what the managers like, this is kinda what everybody liked at that meeting as well. We can wait, I
So
don't,
if we passed a splash pad idea tonight, we would be spending some of the Gunther family donation and showing progress.
Yeah, I think
I
we
make a
should do
motion that we accept package K.
Yes. Package K, yes.
That was the larger one.
Yes, that's the best one.
that was the
Yep.
largest one
Yep.
that would fit in
More
there.
amenities and, yes.
Yeah.
And these won't interfere with the parking lot?
They do not.
Okay.
He
You
motion.
made a motion, I'll second it.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded, Augstad,
Yes.
Rossman.
Yes.
Wabernet.
Yes.
Kleinschmidt.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Ben.
Yes, thank you for all your
Yeah,
work.
thank you.
With that, we're moving on to possible purchase of a gun safe for the city. Right now, we don't really have a secure place to store police firearms, so they are sitting up with the Knox County Sheriff. And with the, maybe hiring a police officer soon, we would like to get them back and have them in a secure place. I did some looking around and talked to Jason, and we thought that having an hour's worth of fire protection would be good. And then I also thought that made in America gun safe would be good rather than an imported. It just depends on what you guys want. This is probably the best bang for the buck for both of them. Obviously, you could find a cheaper one with the hour fire protection, but it was rated a little less and it was imported, so it had a little less steel in it. And you can go upgrade to the Ultra Series, which is a little bit heavier gun safe and a little bigger for, I think, $1,400 or $1,500. I could look quick if you wanted, but like I said, if you want more safes for estimates, then I can get them.
If you like this one and you think this will suffice for what our
This
needs are.
is the best bang for the buck I could find, a USA made safe that had an hour fire protection rating at 1,400 degrees.
Make a motion to purchase it.
I second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Rossman,
Yes.
Wabernet,
Yep.
Kleinschmidt.
Yes.
And Augstad.
Yes.
With that, we're moving on to building permits.
The wired one, you'll have to use.
I can yell. Anyway, planning and zoning, we got 3 new permits to get approved, hopefully, tonight.
Flip.
I got it off.
Hello? 3 new permits to get through tonight, hopefully. One is just an accessory building shed. He located it, and it looks fine, they already signed off on it. We had the discussion about whether we're gonna do steel siding or not steel siding, went back and forth. So this one has a steel siding. If we want to take it to a variance, we can, but I think we'd end up getting into them anyway. And that's something we need to consider in the future. The sidings are getting better and better. And I have a picture if you want to see it. It looks fine. And then we have 2 new homes on Sharon Street. They're all signed off by the utilities. He did make a change in his design, basically making them a little bigger, but a slab instead of a basement, for price, to keep the price down. So, he made it a little bit wider, but it's still within the easements and it doesn't affect the utilities. So we have 3 of them to sign off tonight. And they're all signed off by all the utilities. And then Bobby brought up the comprehensive plan, and when we adopt the ordinances for the planning and zoning, you adopt them based on your comprehensive plan, which we had one back then. And so she's asked what we were doing with the zoning map, and she offered to help us in conjunction with that, and then we'll be working with them on the comprehensive plan. So I talked to Loa today a little bit, we just talked about it, so we'll move forward on that. So as you can see, the zoning map is very important with your comprehensive plan and for us in the ordinances. So, that's all we really have. We're gonna have a public hearing for rezoning a part of the downtown area on March 2nd. And then depending upon how that goes, we'll move forward to have you guys schedule a second public hearing. And then we'll adopt those, and then at that point, we're done rezoning for the new map. And Bobby said that she can help us get a new map digitized. So it's going well, kind of works out perfectly with everything else. So that's all I have.
Copies of the building permits.
Do you want to see it? These are both by the same company that's going to build the two homes on Sharon Street.
Yeah, they're pretty basically the same spec house.
Yep.
And the next one there, west of Bryce, on the north side. So that's the front. And then it has sides, and all that. So the plan is just right here. So there's that line. So it basically has, well beyond any of
To both west of Bryce.
Yes. On the north side.
It looks like it's just, there's a map in there, it looks like it's just to the south of Cadence.
Oh, it's just, yeah, the little blue house, yeah.
Yeah,
It'll be the nicest looking thing back
I
there.
was gonna say that.
Where's it located?
Yeah.
The little house next to Caton's pressure washer back there. We were gonna go with a bigger design, but he said he would have put the price on the range. He thought. When I originally talked to him, he said he wanted to keep it under $400,000.
Build or sell price?
Still makes some money.
Right.
He said the other plans, he wouldn't make any money. He said if he doesn't make any money, he's not gonna build anymore.
They're both exactly the same, so I could show
I,
you.
I talked to 3 different couples that said if there were nicer houses in Crofton, they would move to town.
Yeah, and I
So
didn't give him any
maybe we're
advice or
on-
anything.
Maybe
because-
we're on the right track here.
But, I think it's a good start. And if they sell, then I'll probably go.
And we do keep building.
Yeah.
We do, I mean, the lots need to fill up. I wish there was a basement under it, but.
Well, and I was thinking about too, a lot of these new duplexes this up in Yankton are all slabs.
John, is this shed already built?
He said it was one of the ones he purchased in Montana.
10 by 12.
Oh, yeah.
We still require a building permit so that we make sure it's not put on until this was like
the guy that's doing it at nights for me. It turned out that it just gives the
Yeah, the little beige house is right next to the. Yeah.
So it's plenty of the setback, the utilities. And, that's, I drive through Yankton now.
We'll see.
It's the same thing.
Thanks, John.
We can make a motion to accept them?
Yep.
I can make that motion.
I'll second it.
Tracy?
Seconded, so Kleinschmidt?
Yes.
Ogstad?
Yes.
Rossman?
Yes.
Waberden?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Moving on, due to requests from councilmen and city staff, and as my right as mayor, I would like to appoint a different city attorney. I talked with Carter Scott from Curtis and Scott Law in Plainview, and he is willing to be our city attorney. I believe he's qualified. And then in this email, he has, some rates to consider. If you guarantee him 4 hours of work a month, your first 4 hours would be that price, and then otherwise after that, it's his regular amount, but I mean, it's up to you. I don't know if we need an attorney for 4 hours a month. Otherwise, he would just bill us hourly for when we need him. That is up to you guys. I would recommend just leaving it the hourly rate per hour and not doing what.
Attorney, I don't know.
I think there's a lot of months where we don't even contact an attorney, so if we didn't, then we'd still owe him.
We would have to pay him $800 a month if we didn't, even if we didn't use it.
Right.
Everybody okay with that?
I'll make a motion for
Option two?
option 2.
I'll second that.
To appoint, to accept the appointment or whatever we gotta do in.
Absolutely.
Okay. So motion's been made
Second?
and,
I second it.
Thank you.
okay, so Wabernick,
Yes.
Kleinschmidt, Ogstad,
Yes.
and Rossman.
Yes.
Okay. Now we would like to move to the next item, which would be to elect a council chairman, so we would take nominations. Votes.
Nominate Albert?
We have a nomination for Wabernick. Is there a second?
Second, I'll second that.
A second, okay. Is there any other nominations? Okay, we'll vote on the nomination of Mr. Wabernick for council chair. So Rossman,
Yes.
Wabernick,
Outstanding.
Kleinschmidt,
Yes.
and Ogstad.
Yes.
Okay. Congratulations. Moving on to old business.
I talked to Timmy Goebel on this, he's working on this, as we speak, and he will have it done by the 23rd of this month.
Okay. Okay, so we don't need to put it back on the agenda, where it's all squared away and it's in motion.
Just got an update from him, just a couple minutes ago, so they'll have it done this month, 23rd.
Now we have the Walter House update.
So there's the one sealed bid, and I talked to Todd today, and he's like, oh, you wanted that today? So he did send me a picture of
Okay.
what he's gonna charge to tear that house down.
Okay.
Throw
So
back into the dirt.
one of the options we have, since we've already declared this a nuisance property, we have the right to go in and clean it up and then try to, procure it, to take ownership of it. If that's what you guys wanna do, we can open these bids and clean it up, tear it down, clean it up, fill it back in with dirt, make it nice, and then we would take the cost of this, cleaning this up, and put a lien on the property, and then try to procure it in court, take ownership of it, and then sell it, or whatever we wanna do. I believe that we can make our money back out of the lot by doing this. It's assessed for, I think, $15,000. And I don't believe we would have that into it. It's been a long time coming for this house to get cleaned up. It's been a nuisance for years. It's up to you if you guys wanna open the bids and.
Open the bids, Mayor.
Okay, so we have one from TD&K from construction. An option is just to demo it and haul it away for $3,800. And then if you want it backfilled and leveled nice, that's an extra $1,400 for a total of $5,200. We have one from Brent Arns. Brent Arns Construction, $3,500 to demo the house, haul away debris and concrete, haul in 8 side dump loads of fill dirt from city dump to fill in hole. Well, the first one, sorry, was $3,500, and then $100 a load for, so an extra $800, and then haul in 2 side dump loads of black dirt for top cover, $450, for a grand total of $4,750.
I'm gonna abstain from this whole conversation since I work for him.
Okay.
Oh.
Sure.
Okay. The other one you just had a picture or something?
Yeah, we
Oh.
can,
Yeah, he sent me a picture of it.
5,200. Is that right?
200.
Yep.
This estimate, sometimes, well, this is dated today. Oh, okay.
Yeah, neither one of them remembered to do it before today, so. That's why I have a picture.
Yeah, he's a good construction guy, and that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the black
All in the black
surfaces,
dirt.
that's a good idea.
So some grass right away, that'll make the property look a little better, so.
But we have to take ownership of it first, we have to go through the court process. I think it's a good idea to clean this up and get rid of that public health hazard for the town.
Motion to
Accept the bid.
accept the bid?
Which one?
The Brent Arms, I make that motion. To accept the Brent Arms demolition in the backfill.
I can second that.
Motion's been made, seconded, Kleinschmidt,
Yes.
Ogstad, and Roston.
Yes.
We go on. We will send all the info to the current new city attorney, to have him look it over and make sure we're good. But we have gone through the process a few times of declaring it a nuisance property. And we have the right to do that. So, planning and zoning, oh, I'm sorry, public comment. Moving on to planning and zoning.
Michael.
Oh, sorry, didn't see you.
I just, thankful for the changes that have been made in council.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mike.
Appreciate it. Any other comments? Okay, moving on to committee reports, planning and zoning.
Well, really, I just kind of gave my report then. What we're working on now is the zoning map.
Okay.
And it's important for the comprehensive plan. We'll work with 5 rural. And Bobby said she could probably help us getting the map done and stuff too, so.
Okay.
That's moving ahead. We have one vacating a property that we're gonna discuss for the cities, but we're not ready to present that yet. We're gonna get through the first public hearing with that rezoning, and we'll go from there. We keep stealing our people, so.
No, I'm sorry. Not sorry, though.
Not
It's good.
sorry.
I feel like you're here.
So that's it. Nothing major, we're just as we've been doing for the last 6 months.
Okay. Thank you for your guys' work.
Yes, thank you guys.
And thank you for the member. So moving on to the pool committee,
I just gave my update earlier, so I don't have anything else to share.
tree committee. Okay.
Where's the down?
Administrative reports, city clerk.
Couple of things, we do have 2 council seats that are up for election this year, and the mayor, seat is up for election this year. I have had 3, People come in as interested. Randy has applied to run for mayor. Luke has applied to run for a council seat, and Jason has applied. They are incumbents, and their paperwork has to be sent on the 17th. Anyone who is not previously sat here is not an incumbent. They have to have their paperwork in by March 2nd. They need a receipt from me for $6, and I will give them the paperwork that they take to center and get on the ballot for the election. So if you know anybody who's interested, there, as I said, 2 council and 1 mayor seat. I put in a grant with AARP to get, hopefully, $15,000 to build a pickleball court down at South Park, where, and we'd actually like to use the tennis court for it. It would need, it's got 2 large fences on the end. We put half fences around the side with gates that would go in both sides. And we would do a net that could be lowered or higher for tennis, so tennis could still be played there. And we would have the pickleball lines put in blue and tennis in white, so that it could still be used for both things. I also, if we don't get the amount of money I wanted, I also put in for pads, concrete pads at the disc court, so that they would have a place to tee off on for that. So if one comes in low enough, and we could talk maybe some wonderful person who owns a cement plant to maybe donate us the cement or part of the cement, then we'd be able to do both jobs. So let's keep our fingers crossed that we get this. The other thing that I wanted to say is Chantel sent me something she wanted to share with you. She wanted you to know that the city has earned $46,173.60 in interest last year on our CDs. So congratulations to this. $46,173.60 on our CDs we've earned in interest. So congratulations to us for seeing that was a possibility of doing that. So
Was that an annual figure?
that was for the whole year for all our CDs that we have. Yeah. Unfortunately, they're up again, and the interest rates have gone down a little, but still, that's pretty incredible for 1 year. So congratulations, City.
So with that pickleball court, would we be replacing the tennis court, or are we just adding another one?
No, Dustin doesn't believe for $15,000 that we could build another one. So we would use the concrete that's there. There's already fence there, and I just found out today there used to be fences on both sides and was taken down. So we need half fence and gates. I'd like a gate that would come in from the east, northeast side, and from the southwest side, so that you wouldn't have to go all the way around to get into the court. And then with a net that you could make higher for tennis and lower for pickleball, then we could use the same surface for both things.
Okay.
So that's what I've kind of got planned, and hopefully, like I said, we keep our fingers crossed. So.
Pickleball's a pretty popular sport down there. There's always somebody playing. I was hoping it would be 2 courts.
Yeah, well, and you know, if we could get somebody wonderful owns a cement plant and wanted to donate concrete to us, we probably could do 2, but so, and we'll try. We'll see what we can do.
Okay, so, we have head maintenance. Code enforcer.
Well, you should tell them, you did put in an order for your.
I did order the sampling stations for the grant that we've got. Todd Taney's got the new hole dug out at the dump, so we're good there.
Yep.
You got that concrete hauled off?
Yeah, he had it hauled off yesterday already.
Awesome, very good.
Dug the hole today.
Yeah, and if you've noticed, the water pressure's been different. There's been some main breaks too, so he's been very busy. I'll just give everybody's report.
Okay, so we have city code enforcer.
Just busy with chickens.
The treasurer.
We got hers.
For my report, I guess I would like to thank everybody for the work on the pool and the donations received, including the most recent pledge for Main Street Treasures for $50,000 for the shower house. Guess that's, and thank you for being on city council.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you
thanks,
guys
guys.
very much.
I thank everybody for being here. It's been a busy couple of months.
I motion to adjourn.
Motion's been made and seconded.
Yes.
Waterman?
Yes.
Smith? Yes. Hogstat, Mendroth?
Yes.